I am back and ready to dive into the internet and Reddit and what Reddit has to offer and answer some sex questions that you guys have about sex that you've been posting on Reddit, and in hopes that an amazing qualified sex coach would answer them in video format. And so I'm giving you guys exactly what you want. All joking aside, I'm going to be going through Reddit sex and answering some of the questions that I find interesting, that I think would be applicable to many different people. And so let us begin. First question. I asked my boyfriend if we could work on our sex life, and now he's sad and I feel bad. Advice. So, it could have been a framing thing. Maybe you were like, dude, you are bad at sex, you suck, and now he's sad about it. Or it just could be that he's extremely sensitive. But anyway, in the actual post, it goes on to say that he is a pretty quick guy. He goes in and out pretty quickly and he's done, and there's not much attention given to his sexual partner, the actual person posting. And that's a big issue, and you need to talk about it. And if he is not receptive to hearing you out and having you have a better sexual experience, then you shouldn't really be having sex with this guy, unfortunately. And that's just how it is. He needs to grow up. Sex is an adult thing. If he is too sensitive to deal with the repercussions of having a sexual relationship and maybe the uncomfortable feeling that it might be to receive some sort of criticism during sex, if he's not ready for that, then he shouldn't be having sex in the first place. But that being said, you should have some tact. Say you want to improve your sex life. It's not that he's necessarily doing something wrong. You just want to enhance the experience for both of you. And that requires him to make some changes, to spend more time with you and do these things. You really need to talk about these things with your partner. And everyone should communicate these things to their partner. It's the only way you're going to truly get what you actually want in sex, and so much more than that. You'll be more comfortable with that person, you'll be more able to be open and expressive, and then you can try new things with them because you can talk about those things. If you inject any negativity into sex, any judgment, that is going to close off your partner to any sexual pleasure or satisfaction in the future, because then in their mind they're thinking, if you judge me on this thing, if you put past negative criticism on this thing, then anything I do sexually could be judged, it could be criticized negatively. So try to be as positive, as reinforcing, as tactful as you possibly can when discussing these things, when it's something that your partner needs to improve upon. But he shouldn't be having the selfish sex that he is having anyway. He should be paying attention to you, so you need to talk to him about it. He needs to get over it. I understand that it's hard, but like I said, sex is an adult thing between adults. If he is not ready for that, then he shouldn't be having sex in the first place. Is that too harsh? Question number 2. My dick does not work. So the first sentence is, hi, I am a 20-year-old man. So right away I am thinking it must be a problem with porn, and then I scroll down a little bit and read his post even more, and he is watching a ton of porn a lot during the day and masturbating twice a day even, and masturbating just way more than any human needs to or probably should. And there is your problem right there. If you're 20 years old, there most likely is not a medical issue going on that is causing erectile dysfunction. It's either extreme performance anxiety or it is porn induced. For 99% of you, that's what it is. If you are in that 1% and it requires a doctor, then yeah, you need to go see a doctor and get that fixed so that you can have sex, because sex is important and sex is fun and you should have sex. But for most 20-year-old men, it is porn, and that would be the first thing that he needs to do. Basically, what happens is that high-speed internet porn, how it exists in today's day and age, is extremely stimulating. We are able to access and see millions of images in a matter of seconds, and it's too much for our brains to handle. It gives you an unbelievable dopamine surge that basically becomes so stimulating that it becomes more stimulating than a real-life sexual encounter would be. So you're sitting there with a real partner trying to have sex, And it's not as stimulating of a sexual stimulus than a million women on a computer screen or a phone screen in the matter of seconds. And so your brain's like, what is this? Just one person? One angle? I can't even change the video, change the picture, change the model even, have a different sexual partner every 2 seconds. So you basically have porn-induced sexual desensitization, and that leads to porn-induced erectile dysfunction. You can't get hard anymore. You can't get aroused to normal sexual stimuli. So how do you fix that? Luckily, it's pretty easy. Well, it's easy in concept, it's hard to do in real life, but that is just to get rid of porn, stop watching porn altogether, and you will go through a rewiring process where normal sexual stimuli will become arousing enough to get you to where you need to be, and then you can go from there. Porn is not a good thing. You should not be watching porn for really any reason, so that's all that needs to be said about that. Question number 3. Couldn't finish. Has this ever happened to you? So this is a guy with his wife having sex. They were doing some drugs, they were drinking some drinks, and he couldn't finish for the life of him. And he's just going at it, thrusting away, and he can't finish. And he's now thinking, is this bad? Should I have finished? He feels guilty that he didn't have an orgasm in that experience. But he says that his wife did. And so I'm thinking, what's the issue here? You don't have to have an orgasm every time you have sex. And alcohol and drugs, they can cause this to happen. They can prevent you from ever reaching that orgasm. So there's no expectation that you have to. It doesn't matter. I don't orgasm a lot of the time when I have sex, and that's by choice because I want to save up sexual energy so that I can have some sex more often and have more sexual experiences. So I don't orgasm every time, and there's nothing wrong with that. My partner doesn't expect me to or doesn't feel badly if I don't because they know exactly why this is happening because I've discussed it with them, because I've talked about it with them. So it doesn't matter at all, basically. If you're a guy, you don't have to have an orgasm. Women don't either, but I would say women should because a lot of times women's pleasure gets completely ignored by guys in sex. Anyway, point is, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have an orgasm. You shouldn't feel guilty that you don't. It just means that you can have sex more often, basically. So have sex again and then orgasm. Question number 4. This is from a guy, and he asks, to moan or not to moan? That is the question. So basically he goes into saying that his girlfriends or sexual partners prefer if he moans, and that is absolutely true. People want to get some sort of verbal feedback from the sex that they are providing. That's the only way they know that they're doing something right unless you're directly telling them. And that is the other approach. If moaning feels uncomfortable to you, if it feels unnatural to you, then just replace moaning with dirty talk and say, I like that, I love that, that feels good, that feels amazing. Then you don't have to awkwardly moan and pretend to moan if it's not something natural to you. And then you're dirty talking, which is actually probably better than moaning anyway. And that's going to turn your partner on. People love hearing that more than anything. It really just puts them right in the moment, stimulates them mentally, and provides great sexual experiences, trust me. So if you're not currently dirty talking or moaning, do one or the other, whichever one feels good to you. If anything, I would say do both because that's just going to enhance the experience that much more. The one thing I will say about this is do not, under any circumstances, just be silent during sex. Sex without feedback is not pleasurable sex because your partner has nothing to listen to, nothing to let them know that they are doing something good, something pleasurable, and their mind's going to start wandering, they're going to start feeling insecure, they're going to start feeling anxious, and if they're feeling those ways, then they are not feeling pleasure or satisfaction. So definitely do those things. Be expressive. That's going to lead to better sex. Question number 5, and the final question for this video at least, and that is, my girlfriend has an issue. And I'm going to read this one to you guys because some of you might have a similar issue. My girlfriend is very hairy down there and it never smells very pleasant. And it's just not very nice to have intercourse with her because of that. But I love her and I don't know how to tell her or what to do. So that's just that. You have to tell her. And it's probably going to be pretty uncomfortable, but shouldn't be. There shouldn't be smells down there. If they are perfectly hygienic, which they should be if they're having sex, then there shouldn't be any smells down there. And if there are recurring smells, then that is an appointment with their doctor because there could be something else wrong. Hygiene and bad smells, that is a surefire way to pull your partner out of the sexual experience or pull you out of the sexual experience, whichever foot the shoe is on, I guess. Any intrusive thoughts, any distractions like that, any bad smells, any bad tastes, any stimulus that's going to pull you out of the experience is something we want to avoid in good sexual experiences because it reduces the immersion. It reduces that presence of mind in that experience. If you're starting to think about bad smells, that is going to turn you off, and it's going to basically dampen the amount of pleasure that you could possibly feel because now you're not thinking about how great this feels. Now you're thinking about how bad this smells. So for your sake, you need to talk to your partner about this. You need to get this under control somehow. Maybe have them shower and clean down there before you have sex. But yeah, it's probably going to be an uncomfortable conversation. But you know, you got to do what you got to do and frame it in a way that is not hurtful if you can. And that's going to eliminate any bad feelings or resentments. So, I mean, yeah, I wish I could say more about this, more about how to go about doing this, but it's really going to be dependent on your relationship, how you broach that topic. But it must be done. If it's pulling you out of the experience, then it should be done. So this is a lesson to everyone out there. Be clean, be hygienic, and that's going to lead to better sex because it's not going to be a distracting thing. We don't want distractions in sex. We want pure 100% focus on what is happening in that moment. So that'll do it. That is my analysis of these 5 Reddit questions. So I hope you guys learned something. If you did and you found this video informative, please leave me a like and let me know. If you want more of this type of content, then definitely subscribe and come back for more videos in the future. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.